AI usage is ramping up and it's not a funny haha anymore. It's a what the hell are we gonna do about it? Hi, I'm Lillers and I'm a full-time content creator who normally streams horror games, but I also like to yap, which is exactly why I'm here. Gen AI started out incredibly ugly and nobody could take it serious, but the more people kept feeding it, the more advanced it got. Now the internet is completely riddled with videos and pictures that are barely discernible from reality. I mean, there have been so many times I've been scrolling and I've had to actually snatch my like back because I realized, damn, that's actually AI. But what is the actual problem? Well, let's start surface level and work our way down into the hellish pits of AI. And I know some people like to argue, oh, well, not all AI is bad. Yeah, not all AI is bad, but I'm sorry, you turning yourself into a Disney fucking princess is of course a bad use of AI. I'm talking about generative AI, the most controversial, the most popular, the most trending one right now. I feel like context clues is something that we all learned, but I feel like some people will argue, well, not all AI. Just to be contrarian, which is really weird. One of the main things that you see people talking about when it comes to generative AI is how it actually steals from artists, which at its core is very true. So basically, Gen AI essentially skims artwork, it mashes it together, and then it gets something new. But the problem is that it's taking data directly from those images, and the more that it gets fed, of course, the better that it's gonna be. I remember when AI first started out, you could see, oh, well, it's got 6 fingers, so obviously it's AI. But it's not like an actual artist using other artists as inspiration. It can't take inspiration. It's taking actual data, and that data comes from something, which is all of the artwork and all of the images that you see online. Of course, you can still see like signature artist styles. It's theft. It just is. It's not actual art. It's theft. And don't get me started, there are so many people that call themselves AI artists, whether it's like an actual commission or, you know, it's supposed to be a product, like an item, I don't know, like a mug or something. People will do AI mock-ups of different products, and then when you get the actual product, it's not that. And I was already wary of sites like Etsy because a lot of these sites don't moderate drop-shipped items, but now that AI is here, it is adding to another level of stress. The biggest issue though is that now billion-dollar companies like Coca-Cola are replacing human labor just because they can. Is that not crazy to y'all? They could pay people, but they'd simply rather not. One of the largest companies in the world. They have more wealth than anybody that's watching this video combined. Matter of fact, anybody that's ever watched or ever will watch this video combined. They do it just because they can. There's also the robbing of critical thinking with Gen AI. So chatbots like ChatGPT, it is quite literally designed to tell the consumer what they want to see and what they want to hear. And just like with Gen AI artwork, it also mashes together sources from the internet and leads to blatant misinformation that people just don't bother fact checking. And this can range from a variety of topics, but some people are dumb enough to use ChatGPT as an actual lifeline, and God forbid it tells them something that is absolutely incorrect and it harms the person, but there's no regulations on it. There are also people that are using ChatGPT for something as simple as a goddamn grocery list when they could just go in their pantry, or their fridge, or their cupboard, and see what they need. Of course, ChatGPT is also being used for people in school. There's kids using it, of course, but as a streamer, I've had so many people tell me, hey, this person in my class is using ChatGPT to pass all of their classes. And what are they taking classes for? Of all things, in nursing school. And let's not forget the energy and water usage. As a result of Gen AI usage ramping up and being constant, it is burning energy and water like nobody's business. Matter of fact, Noman Bashir, a computing and climate impact fellow at MIT Climate and Sustainability Consortium, says generative AI training clusters might consume 7 or 8 times more energy than a typical computing workload. Scientists have also stated that scaling energy requirements of these data centers in North America increased from 2,600 megawatts at the end of 2022 to over 5,300 megawatts at the end of 2023. This makes data centers the 11th largest electricity consumer in the entire world. And if the predicted trajectory is true, data centers could easily place 5th by the end of 2026. And of course, followed by the energy usage is also water usage, which is used to cool down these data centers. And it is a nightmare. It's gotten to the point where local communities are struggling as a result. As a result of Gen AI using up energy and water, of course, those prices have gone up. However, even outside of those prices, my own industry, the tech industry, is having its fair share of blues. I built my new PC for streaming back in July, and I bought a lot of shiny new stuff, but if I had waited just a few more months, I think I would have been fucked. My one downfall was that the SSD I'd got as a last-minute addition from October was faulty. So I wasted my actual return window trying to troubleshoot it myself, and I had to send it back to the manufacturer. But before that, I needed an upgrade ASAP since my drive was failing. Hi Sci-Fi, about to start praying like my Puerto Rican ancestors to make sure that your PC doesn't explode. We are so cooked! Oh my god! But the same SSD shot up in price from $139 to just $190 and counting. That is a 36% price increase, all due to Gen AI. Real quick, editing Lily here, that same SSD is now $300 goddamn dollars. And even other components like graphics cards and RAM are outrageous right now. It's getting worse. Seriously, if you wanted a PC at some point, I'm sorry to tell you, but it might be a little late. Yeah, unless you're willing to shell a pretty penny, you're not getting that. And I'm not either, but the good thing is that with the PC Master Race, this will last me a very long time. Falling further down the rabbit hole, AI has gotten so good to the point where people are using it to push political agendas as well as deepfakes of popular figures across the board. There aren't any regulations for it, so people are running wild with it. Donald Trump himself has also used Gen AI to make fun of Taylor Swift right here. But there's also the White House account that uses AI overall, and it's some pretty dark shit. Even in the streaming sphere, it was just a few years ago that Atrioc was consuming deepfakes of his fellow streaming peers like QT Cinderella and Pokimane and so many others. Sure, it's not real, but these women did not consent to the creation of that material, nor his consumption of it. There was no option. And now imagine that material being used to blackmail an individual, one that may not have a platform and can't easily disprove it. That is terrifying, but it's also something that's very real. And there's, of course, also emotional manipulation. One of the hardest aspects about ChatGPT, Gen AI, and Grok, and all these others is that so many people are using it as a replacement for therapy, for friendships, and much more intimate relationships. So much so that some people have become deeply attached to the point of harming themselves, psychologically or physically. And because there aren't many regulations, anybody with internet access can access this. But AI is everywhere, but just because it's everywhere doesn't mean that you have to use it. On every platform that I use, I turn it off, and sure, some things are unavoidable, but that comes with a lot of things in our daily lives. Car emissions are horrible, but thankfully I work from home and I try to make a conscious effort to travel smart. And yes, although I use Google, of course it has that crappy AI overview summary, but you can actually turn this off by doing -AI at the end of your search result. And boom, you don't have to worry about AI popping up in your search results. And that is something that I wish I had figured out sooner, but you can also use an extension that does it for you. You can hide it, and you can even do a pre-Google before the AI search, so that way none of it pops up. Of course, you don't have to listen to me, but Gen AI is everywhere, and if you can do even just a little bit to get the anti-AI culture going, or keep going, as I should say, because many people are starting to wake up to it, but like the meme says, I need everybody to get more woke now! It has been so long since I've yapped on this channel, but now that I have my Elgato teleprompter, coupled with my beautiful Rode boom arm and my Shure SM7B microphone and my Go XLR, hopefully that can change and it can be more regular. And I'm also taking sponsorships, by the way. Just saying.